Last week, my 3 official NFL picks generated a 2-1 record, while the 3 leans also ended with a positive 2-1 record. I'm Professor MJ, sports betting expert and holder of a PhD in statistics. This week, I've got 3 more official picks for you, as well as a couple of leans. Ready, set, go! Pick number 1 is rated 4 stars out of 5. It goes to the Minnesota Vikings minus 2.5 points for the first half against the Indianapolis Colts. I was surprised when I first saw the line on this game. I thought I had missed a key injury to a Vikings player. Being favored by 4 points at home means you are a slightly better football team than your opponent. But no matter how you look at it, Minnesota is much superior than Indy. Is it the 34-23 Minnesota loss in Detroit that created this weird line? But the Colts have not fared much better in their last match, as shown by their 54-19 demolition in Dallas. I simply don't get it. Sure, the Colts are coming off their bye week, but many studies have shown that the extra week benefits strong teams, but not so much the weaker squads. The latter don't seem to make good use of the extra time off. Indy got a 1-game spark after firing their head coach when they pulled off an upset in Vegas in Week 10. They also played well against the Eagles in a 17-16 defeat. But they are now undergoing a 3-game losing skid, the new coach effect seems to be fading, and it looks like the wheels are coming off for the Colts. Meanwhile, the Vikings won't take them lightly after a disappointing loss in Detroit. They can clinch the NFC North title with a win, which they clearly want to accomplish right now in front of their home fans. I chose to take the first half spread rather than the full game as a matter of personal preference only. I expect the Vikings to come out fired up after their Lions loss, and I can see them playing a great first half. Pick number 2 is rated 2 stars out of 5, and it goes to the New York Giants plus 4.5 points at the Washington Commanders. The big story revolves around the Giants falling apart, 0-3-1 over the past 4 games, while the Commanders are being red hot with a 6-1-1 record lately. But don't expect the Giants to crawl in a hole and die. This is a divisional matchup where both teams are fighting for their playoff lives, and I expect it to be super tight. In these types of games, it is preferable to back the underdog and taking the points. Washington is coming off its bye week. They will certainly be well rested, while New York got punched in the mouth by the Eagles last week. Still, this game has the look of a bounce-back performance by a Giants team that everybody calls dead. The last 5 times New York lost a game, they came back to beat the spread. The Commanders' defense has done a fantastic job, but I believe Daniel Jones and Brian Daboll will find creative ways to put some points on the board and keep the score close. It's important to realize that the Giants have beaten the spread the last 4 times they went to Washington. So give me the Giants and the extra 4.5 points. Pick number 3 is rated 1 star out of 5. I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders straight up against the New England Patriots. Obviously, the rest factor gives Vegas an edge. The Raiders are getting 3 additional days of rest after playing last Thursday, while the Pats lose one day following their Monday night performance in Arizona. New England will be traveling through 3 time zones to play this game, and it will be their 3rd road game in 4 weeks, including long trips to Arizona and now Vegas. The Raiders' pass defense is among the league's worst, but that's okay when you are facing a putrid Mac Jones-led offense. Vegas can't stop the run. They are ranked 5th in the NFL in terms of their defensive EPA statistic defending the run. The Raiders have beaten the spread the last 4 times they faced a team with a winning record. They can certainly hold their ground against good teams. I am not worried about Vegas giving up after their horrible loss against the Rams last week. Head coach Josh McDaniels is facing his former mentor, Bill Belichick. He wants to prove he can beat him, and he will make sure his team is ready, even though they are out of playoff contention. I'm taking the Raiders to pull off the mild upset. It's time for a couple of unofficial picks that I like to call leans. For now, I don't like them enough to put an actual wager on them, but I might change my mind later during the week. Lean number 1 goes to the Jets. Pick him against the Lions. Jared Goff plays well at home indoors, but he tends to struggle a lot on the road outdoors against fierce defenses. Look at the astounding contrast. The Lions average 32 points scored per game at Ford Field versus only 18.4 on the road. When they visited the Patriots and the Cowboys, 2 solid defensive units, Detroit scored 0 and 6 points respectively. My main concern is how the Jets have been fading lately, while the Lions have been hot. But it's not like New York has no incentive in this game. They will be fired up, and you can tell they want to play hard for their QB, Mike White. Lean number 2 goes to the Buffalo Bills -7 against the Dolphins. Miami is another team that looks different whether they play at home or not. In fact, the Dolphins defense has allowed just 15 points per game at home, compared to 31.4 on the road. Add the fact that Tua is slumping, Tyreek Hill is hurting, and Miami's running game is stalling, and you have a recipe for a blowout. And I have not even mentioned the weather factor yet. Since 2017, the Dolphins have played 7 games under 40 degrees Fahrenheit. What was their record in those matchups? 0-7, both straight up and against the spread. To top it all off, Miami will be on the road for the 3rd straight week, and Buffalo will be looking to avenge an earlier 21-19 loss in which the Bills dominated 497 total yards to 212 for Miami. Who won the $50 prize from the Week 14 NFL Underdog Contest? Well, we have 2 finalists that came up with the correct combo: Jacksonville and Carolina. Those were the 2 biggest underdogs to win outright last week. Those finalists are Deborah Lucia and Mark Pyle. So let me draw one name at random in order to determine the winner, which is Deborah Lucia. Congratulations! Contact me at winner@professormj.com to redeem your prize. Now go ahead and enter my Week 15 Underdog Contest by posting in the comments below which 2 teams will cause the biggest upsets. The official point spreads are on your screen right now. To make things simpler, you cannot pick the Thursday night game nor any of the 3 Saturday games. You must enter your picks by 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, and you cannot edit your comment at any moment after posting it. Best of luck to you! I'm Professor MJ, University Statistics Professor for 15 years. Subscribe now to the best sports betting show on YouTube.